Do you ever feel like you have a challenge identifying what's real? For example, there was this viral video about food stamps. The only problem was that it totally was not real. And now, with these amazing masks that people have access to, plastic surgery just completely changing people's faces. Our last president even had a bunch of plastic surgery done. And trust in legacy media outlets is at an all-time low. How do we know what's true? So a friend of mine is a big World War II buff, and he told me that he found this video. And the video had all of these different facts lined up. The problem was it just wasn't true. And I found in this Reddit forum, for example, these World War II junkies found this channel here with almost 72,000 subscribers on YouTube. And what they find is that these videos have some facts that are lined up in a certain way that seem to make sense. The problem is they're just not true. What's happening here is what's called factual anchoring. Basically, an AI model knows that certain things are true, and then it fills in the dots beyond what it knows are true. That's how you get these stories that have some facts in them, but they're just not true. And this misunderstanding or lack of understanding of reality can have profound impacts on our brain, and it can also open doors for people who want to control others. For example, this illusory truth effect, it just means that basically if you tell the same thing over and over again, many people will believe it as true. Because in general, people will experience what's called source amnesia. So if they saw the video on this YouTube channel with a bunch of stories that aren't true, they won't remember the source of the story, they'll just remember the story. And they'll have this reference point in their mind, that's called the anchoring effect. And it is one of the references that is available to them, so basically they'll say, oh yeah, that's what I think happened there. And as our physical world has people who change their appearance so dramatically, even our political leaders. I mean, look at Joe Biden here versus there. And this wasn't even covered hardly at all in the media. And I was thinking, that doesn't look like the same guy. Not to mention the fact that you can get a hyper-realistic mask for less than $1,000 on eBay. Look, here's some of Elon Musk right there. And MIT recently announced the availability of what they're calling second skin. We're basically engaged in this crisis of knowing what's real. The royal family uses AI. Prince Andrew claimed for a long time this photo was just AI. And then you get state actors that want to amplify certain stories. And they do that through social media, which people go to for their news because their trust in traditional media is at an all-time low. How do you even know what's happening in the Iran war? For sure. I started paying for Reuters. It's $4 a month. I'm trying to follow these new ways of people crowdsourcing truth. Do you ever feel like we are increasingly dealing with the crisis of knowing what's real?